This is a Glass Box Media podcast.
Hey everybody, welcome to My Worst Date. I am Cassie.
I'm Keegan.
I'm Christina.
And we were talking a little bit before this episode about burning bridges because we kind of know someone who has just gone through and lit the match to a past life, which I find shocking.
And not for the first time. That's just kind of their MO, you know, is to leave a group of people, whether that be, you know, ones that they're working with or that they are friends with, in quotes, and they're tight for that time when they're in proximity. There are people that I think are only friends because of proximity.
Yeah.
And then once that's removed.
Yeah.
And that makes me sad because
proximity or beneficial, like you can do something for me, you benefit my life in some way.
very transactional.
Very transactional.
Yeah. Instead of like having a legit friend, like if I knew if I moved away now that we would still communicate.
Yes.
Yes.
It takes effort to have a friendship, and you're looking at somebody that does not give an effort in any aspect of their life.
No.
You know?
Right. If you want to maintain friendships with people, you will. And nothing will prove that to you more than moving away.
Yeah.
Like there are people who I see and spend considerable time with every single time I go home. Right. And like I have maintained those friendships.
Yeah.
And put the effort in, and they've put the effort in to maintain those friendships for decades, right? You know, like people who I've known for 20 years or 10 years or whatever, and continue to make the effort to see them. That's not everybody.
Yeah.
There are definitely people who have fallen off, who I don't see whenever I go home, who I was like, oh, we're going to be super, super tight forever, you know, but it's a two-way street, and both parties have to be invested in wanting to maintain that, and they will if they want to.
Right.
You know, and so, and I've learned my lesson about burning bridges because I have moved so much. And like when I was younger, it would be a thing where it was like, I got hurt by someone or, you know, whatever. And I would be like, you know what? I don't need you anyway. And then you kind of like, and then you do the thing where you like erase them from your life.
They're no longer in the top 8 on MySpace.
Yeah, you kick them out of that top 8. Maybe you delete them altogether off your MySpace if you want to go like a one step further. You know what I mean? But, you know, it makes it much, much harder if you ever do want to reconcile or if anything does happen, you know? So I would argue against
burning those bridges.
I
will say that I'm kind of the opposite. We know me. Nothing makes me more scared than not having friends. So even if you're awful to me, I am the most forgiving person on the planet. So I tend to be the one who's like, I'm going to keep the bridge there. I mean, I'm not going to maintain the bridge. I'm just not going to burn that bridge. I'm just going to like let the bridge be. If it starts to rot on its own naturally, that's fine.
Well, that's where I'm at now in my life. That's where I'm at now in my life, where I'm like, I'm not going to burn a bridge. But it takes me a lot to get to the point. I put up with a lot until I get to the point where I'm
once
like,
you burn it, it's done.
Pissed.
We're done.
But now I just kind of let it be. Like you said, like I'm not going to come to you. I'm not going to beg for your forgiveness. I'm not going to reach out in any way, but I'll leave it there.
Sure.
And if we want to repair it later down the line, the bridge still exists. Right.
We can put some work into it later if need be. But yeah, I will tell you, and I'm the kind of person who burns bridges just in my own mind. So I'm the person who's like, I have literally 2 people, and they're in my professional world in which I was like, fuck that bridge, gasoline, match. Like, I will never fucking work for you again. And I don't care if you have the only job available in the whole of the world.
Nice.
I will never fucking work for you again because you're an awful human being. So for me, it's more like that. It's more about just, and I would never act awfully to those people. I would never make a a personal, like, I would never, they don't even know their bridge is burnt.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, it's more like a personal bridge that I've burnt for them. So I just think that, I don't know. Like for me, I love love. I love being loved. I love having friends, and I will let people treat me awfully for the rest of my life. What I will burn a bridge over very quickly, though, or what I will.
Your friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm the same
You
way.
fuck up my husband, I will fuck up your life.
Yeah.
Come for my husband. I goddamn dare you. I swear
and
to God. Like, I just, like, to me.
Luckily, because we know we had an instance with you where Christina and I had to have like a come to Jesus with you about somebody, like in the recent past, where we were like, you need to let that person go. And you're like, I can't. And we're like, listen, bitch, we love you. You have to let that person go. You know what I mean? We were like, she doesn't treat you right.
She doesn't treat the world right is the problem.
You gotta let her go, you know? And it was hard. It was so hard.
I'm still like...
watching you struggle with trying to make that decision was like...
And literally it was just unfriending her.
Literally, yeah.
Facebook.
It wasn't even like anything super aggressive. It was just like, I was like, you have to hit that unfriend button.
I just was like... I was like... You like pushed my finger down. I'm like, God damn it, it's done already. I guess I got to do it.
Rip that Band-Aid off. Rip it off.
Oh, yeah, it's true.
No, that's where it gets me too. Is that most of the time I'm rather nonchalant. You know, if people, I mean, the people that I make tight connections with is a very, very small circle, and so I'm ride or die with that. But yeah, I'm kind of bad about letting like acquaintances or people in the outer bubble, like putting any effort into maintaining that. Yeah. You know, so I definitely get that. I mean, I don't like unfriend people or whatever, but you know, but yeah, if someone's mean to my friends.
Oh God. Yeah, no. I know. It's so weird how that works.
There's
like
nothing like the hate of a mutual friend hate.
Oh yeah.
Girl, you just know too. You see that person at a mutual friend party and you're just like, you just look at each other and you're like, yeah, no, that bitch, I know, right? You don't even have to say words. You're just like,
You know who's the best at mutual friend hate? Amy.
Our friend Amy, 100%. Oh, and she'll hold on to that forever.
Yeah.
Forever. She will never let it go. She will never let it go.
That is the Pisces.
It's incredible.
In her.
Honestly.
She is a pit bull for real.
It's so interesting. Like, it's so interesting how you get that way. Like, I feel like I'm that way in bars as well. Whereas like if a guy is being like kind of aggressive towards me, I'm kind of like, no, thank you. Please leave me alone. But if a guy is being aggressive to one of my girlfriends, it's on.
Girl, you saw me with you last time we were at the bar.
Yeah.
That guy coming in hot, I was like, I will fucking break your goddamn skull and
ruin your life.
Both Chris and Eric were like,
Chris got like real fucking pissed. Well, he got mad at me because I was like, will you fucking handle this motherfucker? And he was like, I do not want to get into a fucking fight and I will crack his skull open. And I was like, I know, but maybe that needs to happen. And so then he went to the manager because that's Chris is my Karen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's like, excuse me, this guy over here is a real piece of work. If you could handle that so I don't kill him.
So and then he came back later and brought your hair tie. He's like, manager says I had to give this back to you.
Oh my God.
That guy was a trip. I don't know if we told that story on the podcast, but yeah, this guy was being real like handsy.
Real aggressive.
And I'm like, man, we're in a pandemic, sir. Can you like respect my personal space? And he kept like trying to dance with me. And then he kept saying like, oh, don't worry, I'm gay. And then he would like lean in and be like, I'm not really gay. Like he's
oh no.
Yeah. And then what the final straw was, what the final straw was that he kept picking me up. Picking me up.
I don't like that.
That's when like some time went by, he was gone, whatever. And then he came back over and he was like, the bartender or the bouncer says that I have to apologize to you. He says I can't do that anymore. I was like, yeah, no, you can't. Thank you.
Oh my God.
Jesus.
Oh, man. Wild.
Good times.
Well, what else is going on in the world right now? Is there any, I saw there is some sort of like Kanye listening party. That's the only.
Wasn't there like a Vax party he had or something?
What?
Like I don't know. I feel like
I know he's changing his name.
He's now just
Yay.
Just Yay. And I do know
so
that
hard because his music used to be. I don't know. It doesn't tend to still be, but it used to be so fucking good.
God.
And so listenable and
808. Oh, so good.
Yeah.
It's such a good album.
Flashing
College Dropouts,
lights,
a great
lights.
album. Yeah. I mean, I loved Kanye.
Yeah.
Loved Kanye. And really,
still will listen.
and really, like, I feel like my brother, who's a Gen Zer, asked me once, he was like, who do you think is like the like representative of your like generation musically? And I was just like, man, early Kanye was so like influential.
Yeah.
yeah.
Beyonce.
Yeah.
I think it's Beyonce.
Oh, Beyonce.
I think for our generation, it would be probably Nirvana, like Kurt Cobain, probably, right? Like, I think that as far as like generationally speaking, like for Gen Z would probably be, I think.
Or Gen X.
Or, yeah, it's
Yeah.
Gen X.
Mhm.
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah. Okay, so I was just thinking while I was in the bathroom, because that's where I get all my good ideas.
Yeah.
What movie couple ruined your love ideal, right? Like, so for example, like you were like, okay, mine would be, for example, like The Princess Bride. Like, you're just like, this is what love is supposed to look like. And so if I can't find that, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? In your baby brain, when you were just like, this is what love looks like. It's perfect. And
Mine would definitely be Darcy and Elizabeth.
Oh.
That was just like,
yeah.
you're supposed to have these like heated arguments and this like,
Oh, yeah.
intense passion. And
I mean, yeah,
Wow.
I guess I have a hard time picking one because it was all of that. Like, that was
it's
what
a
it was
combination
for
yeah.
me, because that was not only was that every couple in every 18th century or 19th century novel, that was also every couple in every old movie, which I watched a ton of. So like
Yeah.
any black and white movie, it was always that. It was always like this like heated, at one point he's going to grab you by the shoulders, right? And like shake you a little. And that was supposed to be like super hot and romantic and passionate. And that's
Yes.
what love was. And like, that's what love looked like and was supposed to look like. And so unfortunately I would replicate that.
yeah, that's what you're
Moving
looking for,
into
right?
relationships, right? Because I was just like, if you don't have a bunch of ups and downs and it's not like, you know, really quote unquote passionate, then it's not love, you know?
And I also came of age during the 90s Bet movie.
Yes, yes,
So-
yes.
You're like-
With the turnaround where it's like, you're kind of a geek, but we can turn you around.
Yeah, we can
and
take out
make
those
you
glasses.
popular.
And yeah, I was wearing glasses at
Yep.
the time with my crazy curly
And
hair.
so you'd go
I
home
just,
and
like,
take those glasses off, and you couldn't see yourself, but you just knew how much hotter you were.
which is the reason why I took an actual iron for clothes at one point to my
Yes.
hair.
Oh God.
You watched Hairspray, and you were like, "Yep,
yeah,
there it
they
is."
can do it. Yeah.
I bought an actual like relaxer
Oh,
from the
honey.
store, and broke all my hair off.
Yeah, because you don't
Yeah.
have that relaxer hair.
No, I do not. No.
Oh.
Also, anything you can buy from a CVS for the most part is not going to be the best thing.
A chemical, like a real
Yeah.
strong chemical that you can
Yeah.
buy from CVS.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, also, I feel like I was coming of age during a time of like where manic pixie dream girl,
Yes.
quirky,
Oh,
cute
yes,
was
that-
huge. That
I'm
like
not
Zoe
like
Deschanel,
other girls.
the not like the other girl kind of trope of like
Yes.
you're going that for sure. I tried to emulate that for sure, where it was
Girl.
like
Yeah, cool girl. I
cool
definitely
girl.
tried cool girl.
I listen to indie music. I ride my bike around. I read interesting books, and it's gonna make
Yes.
somebody like fall in love with me because I wear sundresses or fucking whatever. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
I like sports. I'm not like the other girls, but I do like sports. That was real me. But I mean, but for sure, like there was definitely something about that made me, I don't know, be like, I'm special. I'm one
Right.
of the guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, like definitely.
I feel like probably our childhoods, especially, were not conducive to women friendships.
No.
No.
It was always like a competition.
Yes.
it's like you had like a couple of close girlfriends, and then outside of that, it was all guys. Like I had one really close girlfriend, and we hung out with just dudes, pretty much.
100
Yeah, like
fucking percent. Same. 100% same.
Yeah.
My friend Stacy and I, And like literally it was like playing poker with the guys. And, or
watching them play video games.
Yeah.
So much of that.
Or playing golf video games with them. Like that.
Oh my God.
Playing
I've
Tiger
seen
Woods.
every single board of Tony Hawk Pro Skater
yeah.
at least 50 times.
Yeah.
Oh,
I've
man.
smoked so much weed in the basement of friends.
Oh,
guy friends'
God.
houses.
Oh, God.
Jesus.
Man.
Oh, listen to so much Primus. And
Yeah. I
was a
watched
time.
WWF wrestling
honey,
at
same.
one point.
I did that though since I was a kid.
I
We
love
used to
when
rent
you-
the boxing matches.
I love when you grow up and you're just like, nah.
Who was I?
Like,
Yeah.
you're just like, you know what? I'm not doing shit I don't
learned
want to
how
anymore.
Play Magic the Gathering.
Oh, okay. That might be too far. You win. You aren't like the other girls.
I do think you do win.
Oh, God.
Christina, not like the other girls. Name of the episode.
Because I for sure didn't do that. I'm like, I'll sit in the room with you
Yeah.
while you play Magic the Gathering, but I am
Same.
not.
I'll
I am,
chain smoke over here while you guys do that.
Yep. No, it's a shame receipt up there.
I guess.
Whew. I think I told you guys. I'm pretty sure I told you on the podcast that one of my very first boyfriends played this game called
Yes.
Warhammer.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the figurines.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh.
I mean, Settlers of Catan was about as far as I was willing to go. I was like, there's my limit.
Listen,
you know?
and I love games.
Yeah.
But Magic, D&D, that is complicated. That is like learning a new skill set.
That's why
It's like
I
learning
can't
a
fuck
new
with
language.
it.
It's
Like,
too much.
It's just too much. Like, it's not
my
that
brain can't. I got too much other things to save.
I don't even have anything against it. Like my brothers play D&D. Like I think it's actually really cool that they can
Yeah.
kind of get together and like do this
Community,
thing. But I'm like,
awesome.
I'm too old. Okay, you
Yes.
can't teach me how to do this anymore.
Yes.
Like Pokemon cards was where I got off the train.
Yeah.
You know, like
I didn't even get on Poke Train.
oh
Yeah.
man, I was on it. I used to go to Toys R Us and play
You're
in the
like,
tournaments.
I Pikachu's you, bitch.
I played in the tournaments at Toys R
Okay.
Us.
Wow.
In middle school, okay, I wasn't like 21.
Okay. Yeah. No.
It wasn't last year at all. It definitely wasn't. Promise.
Oh,
Jesus, my God. Okay. So movie couples.
Yeah. Let's do that for our FMK.
Okay.
I think mine has to be. I think mine has to be, or I mean, Anne of Green Gables. That relationship. Yeah, it has to be that Gilbert and Anne, because
I loved the books.
Oh, I love the movies. I just watch them
Yeah.
again every year. Like honestly,
Yeah.
But that relationship, and for anybody who doesn't know, well, you need to know. You need to go watch them.
Yes.
Ridiculous
Synopsis. Yeah, go for
so
it.
about them, if you're not like familiar, like their relationship was like she was a strong, sturdy, go for it woman, independent, you know, and was career minded first and was going to pursue life and all its passions.
very
and,
Joe March-esque.
yeah, very Joe March-esque. But her and Gil have always had this kind of underlying like tension of like meant to be together, right? Like that's kind of the thing, is that her and Gil were always meant to be. They grew up together. They've known each other since they were kids, but she's like, it can't be this until like basically death knocks on his door and she's like, wait, what have I been doing all this time? And so I do think that there is something there that definitely is me. Like I definitely was like, I'm an independent. My career comes first. I'm really, you know, I don't need nobody. And I, you know, and absolutely, when I met Chris, it was, I don't need you in my life.
Right.
If I want you in my life, that's where I'm at. Like, I want you here. I don't need you here.
Yeah.
And I think that that's probably, I mean, in many ways that did probably make my baby brain form a way like in which I thought relationships should or shouldn't look like. But I don't know that it was terrible.
Yeah,
I don't think it was
going to
bad.
say.
I don't think it was bad. I just think that it was interesting how that influenced so much of my mindset, right?
Yeah. I think mine is more from a book too than a movie. I do think I did think that Darcy and Elizabeth were like the couple. Like it was the most romantic thing to me, that you had to get into a whole bunch of fights and that like proved your love.
Barely tolerate each other. Yeah.
Yes, but it was that heat, that passion.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Do you think that formed how you ended up in certain relationships?
Yeah, I definitely do. I definitely think that it has also negatively affected relationships that might have actually been a good thing because I was searching for that turbulence or that passion that I thought needed to be a component in a good relationship. That if that kind of like just like throw you up against the wall kind of passion wasn't there, then that meant it was a shit relationship.
Yeah.
And so,
Interesting.
yeah, that's something I've definitely had to work out, that it's like,
well, that's not sustainable. I feel like we never got to that point in the movie, right? Like years down the line where it's just like you can only kind of like sort of hate your partner for so long, you know? Like, that kind of like simmering under the surface sort of thing. Gosh, I don't know. For me, because what I was gonna do, I don't think necessarily that. Yeah, you know what? Why don't we do it? Let's go with Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind and that relationship.
So
that like being like super in love and obsessed with like I wanted somebody to be, gosh, this is really conflicting given the fact that I keep saying that I'm very scared of someone being obsessed with me, but like I wanted someone I wanted to be obsessed with me to be obsessed with me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right? Like I wanted somebody to want me like that. Right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, and think that I was that cool and that interesting that they would kind of like,
oh, that's interesting.
You
want
kind
that.
of did end up with somebody who thinks that way about you. A little bit, but not in like in a
not in a scary way.
Not in a scary way.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I think you want him to. But like if you didn't like Tony, he's pretty obsessed with you in the cutest way.
It's like, that's funny. That's one of the last things that my dad said to me, is that he always wanted me to be with somebody that loved me more than I loved them.
Ooh, I love that.
And I was like, oh,
I love that.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so he's
I mean,
like,
I do think things went off the rails in Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind a little bit. I mean, I think maybe don't let it get to that level. But I did find her character, and she's messed up. Like that's the thing about that like manic pixie dream girl trope, is that they're always messed up and probably not very healthy. But I found it like I still wanted to kind of be that. Like I wanted to be that kind of like cool, interesting, free-spirited kind of person.
It speaks to people like you and me, and probably you too, Christina, which were not necessarily girl popular in high school, which is that you can be weird. You can be different and still be special and lovable.
And someone's going to love that about you.
Yeah. And honestly, it's the thing too, even the Anne of Green Gables thing. It's like, she's a redhead, which she hates being a redhead. She doesn't love the way she looks. She thinks she's awkward. And she maybe in some ways is a little awkward. She's not, doesn't have a ton of friends. She has like one single bosom friend who, you know what I'm saying? Like, so there is like this kind of like, I'm not like the other girls thing that felt very much like who you were too, if you weren't necessarily quote unquote popular,
right?
You know,
right? I mean, and because my formative years, it was a lot of that. Like I think Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist, 500 Days of Summer, Garden State.
Oh yeah,
Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. All of these movies came out at like the same time, like in the same time period, and it was all kind of the same vibe, the same kind of quirky girl. You know, different variations on the same theme.
Yeah.
And I wanted to be a combination of all of those girls. And it's very problematic. But
it is. And I will say the message, too, of that movie is a little bit problematic. And I used to think of it as like this grand romantic thing of them choosing to go through it again, even though they know it's going to be awful. They know how it ends and where it goes, and they just choose to do it again. And I'm like, but why? No,
it's a bad message.
It's a bad message.
It's a bad message, and you can't live in the past like that either. Like it's not a good message at all. Like it's a problematic movie, but. Yeah, I'm with you. Like at the time, it felt very romantic. It'd be right? Like, and I wanted someone to want me like that. You know, who like no matter how it ends, I want to do it again with you. Right? You know what I mean? Like,
totally.
I'm like, I was like, that's beautiful. Yeah, looking at it as an adult, I'm like, oh, no.
Yeah, that burning house fire is probably not safe, huh?
Yeah. I think actually, yeah, I'd have to, if we're gonna fuck, marry, kill.
I think there's a pretty solid.
Yeah, I think
it's
obvious
pretty solid
what we do
that
here.
You gotta marry the Anne of Green Gables.
Yeah,
that's the only stable relationship
it's the
here.
right one.
Fucking Darcy.
That's right. That's fucking right.
Yeah,
that's exactly right.
You have to.
Heated.
It's going to be a little dangerous.
Yeah, you're
just
gonna get
a little bit dangerous.
You're gonna get in the middle of a Bennett Darcy sandwich. Like, oh my god. Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Can I pick the one too? I want the Keira Knightley one.
Oh
Yeah.
yes.
That
Oh.
Darcy is particularly
Although
hot.
I gotta tell you, like when Colin Firth comes out of the water in
Okay.
the BBC one,
Yes.
ooh,
Yeah, that one's a good one too.
Jesus, I just got a little hot in here. He's hot in that one.
There's a reason why I subscribe to PBS Masterpiece.
You're just rewinding that scene
Just
over and over again.
pause. It actually burned into your screen.
You just have a gif of it playing all the time.
All the time.
Yeah, no, I mean, there is only one answer here because, like,
Yeah.
even though I do think sex with Kate Winslet's character in Eternal Sunshine would be
amazing.
amazing.
The Jim Carrey?
Not
one?
so much. Like,
thank you.
Jim
Down.
Carrey is just so sad in that movie that,
Yes.
like, he's going to bring the whole room down.
It's a vibe and it's a bummer.
It's
It
a
is a
bummer.
bummer.
Yeah, so
It's a bummer.
you can't. I'm sorry, Kate. You know I love you so much, but I simply cannot get involved with that. We've matured over
Yep.
here. Okay, she's matured. We're not gonna do that. But I'm gonna. You know, the obvious choice. We're going to
Yeah.
marry Anne and Gilbert.
Yeah.
We're going to fuck.
Make me want to watch those movies again, man. I loved those books when I
I
was a kid.
have a Gazebo subscription just so I can watch it on demand anytime, and you can get the app, and I will give you my login information.
Amazing.
I have all of them.
I
I have all three of
love
them.
it.
Well, that's
I
technically
feel like
four,
that's
but
a
there's
journey,
three.
dude.
Oh, it's
I
so
know
good.
you guys understand this, but when your partner goes out of town
Yep.
and you're
Oh,
just
God, yeah.
plan all the fucking ridiculous shit you want to do by yourself, and it's like
You're gonna lay in bed
Dude.
naked.
Okay, whenever I was in
popcorn.
Springfield, we were trying to find a movie to watch, and we settled on Willy's Wonderland, which I have discussed. But before that, we were like scrolling, and I don't even know what it's called, but it was Toni Collette, and I was like, let's watch the trailer for that. And it was like a Toni Collette horse movie. It's like she is like a shopkeeper in England somewhere, like a small town, and like gets a racehorse and like trains this racehorse up. And I was like, this is gonna be stupid. And I watched the trailer and I was like, the second I'm alone, I am gonna watch this movie.
I'm gonna watch that Tony.
I am gonna watch this
movie.
heartwarming Toni Collette horse racing British movie. Like, for sure.
I'm totally
You're like,
going
this
to
looks stupid.
fucking
Writing it
binge.
down.
Right, exactly.
binge Anne of Green Gables.
Oh.
That's happening.
Yeah.
Dude, listen, come over to my house. We'll stay. we'll get comfortable in my Craftmatic adjustable bed.
Yes.
And we will binge watch. Oh my god! Oh, you're kidding.
Oh.
I'll make macaroni and cheese.
She's so excited. Just like the cheapest kind, the craft kind. None of
Yes.
that
Yes.
thick and creamy or whatever.
No.
Yeah.
I want the ones with the
little
like,
tiny
shapes.
noodles.
Yeah, no. I want the shapes. I'm gonna get the like
Ooh.
unicorn shapes. Those
Oh my
ones.
god.
Yeah.
They
So-
taste different.
It does.
Those ones do hit different.
You got to do one at a time, and I do mine just a little saucier, like a little heavier on the like milk content, just to give it like a. I don't know. It's a weird thing. It's a personal preference, and I will definitely not make yours that way if you don't want it that way. But I like a little slurp,
Oh, okay.
a little.
I'm a
saucy.
dry
okay.
Mac person.
Chris too.
Yeah.
So
Hey, I mean FMK for next time, I guess. Some mac and cheeses. And it might also be lunchtime
Comfort-
for us.
Yeah, we're
food.
hungry.
a comfort food. Oh man,
You guys want to take 5 and we'll come back with stories?
sounds
Yes.
good.
And we're back. Oh, Cass, I saw you take a deep
You
intake
did because
of breath.
I almost did. Hi, everybody. Welcome.
What's happening?
I don't know. Where am I? What's going on? I'm going to start us off with stories is what I'm going to do because I have the tainted love this week. We got this from our inbox. This person says, "Hey ladies, some old memories have popped up while listening to the podcast and I wanted to share. So I'm going to share one of the stories that she sent. It starts out, when I was 20, I briefly dated a guy, friend of my brother, who always wanted to take a shower with me. I understand wanting to take a shower with your partner. It can be hot.
Yeah.
However, I've always liked my shower time as my time. I can fucking 100
relate. Bathroom time is alone time.
Yeah.
Everything that happens in the bathroom.
100%. I love a personal shower. However, I always like my shower time, right? I hate having to stand to the side while shivering and waiting for my turn under the water.
That is a thing. I did date a guy where we always showered together, and that was the situation. It's just
always.
like,
wait, hold on. Always showered
not
together?
okay, not every
this.
single time, not every single time, but often.
Oh, no.
Often. Yeah.
No,
Well,
I hate that.
You're not going to love
I mean,
this.
it was very efficient because it's just like you can get in, you can get out. On with your day, right?
Oh my God, no.
Well, one day my brother was visiting and I took this opportunity to take a shower alone. So I tell my boyfriend I'm going to take a shower, and he looked at me like I completely offended him and says, "Can't you wait?" With a head shake. Needless to say, my brother left very shortly after, and B and I took our shower. One of the first things I told the next person I dated was that when I take showers, it will be alone. This story isn't bad. And B and I have always remained friends, but it always gives me a good laugh when I think about it.
Yeah, no, like always.
It is
always.
kind of weird. Like, that is weird that you need to take a shower together. You can't shower separately. Why?
I hate it.
That sounds like a thing. You know what I mean?
Right. And I agree. I'm like, I don't want to fucking stand outside of the water and get cold. Nobody wants to be that person.
No.
But yet, in every situation, someone is going to be that
Unless you
person.
have one of those incredible showers that has like multiple shower
Dual
heads.
heads.
Yeah,
and stuff like
yeah.
that. Yeah. I can
Yeah,
get
if you're
down on
in
that.
a shower that's meant for two people, then it's like, oh, that's nice.
But you're not.
But you're not.
You're
No,
in an
you're
apartment-ass
not.
shower that's a little square.
Yes.
And you just
You're
be squeezed.
both trying to fit into a bathtub, right?
Yes.
Like standing in a bathtub with a
Meanwhile,
shower
like,
head.
The soap is dripping down your face, into your eyes.
God forbid. Also, like, all of us have like higher maintenance hair.
Yeah.
Like the trying to wash your hair properly,
Right.
like with somebody in the shower. Like it takes on hair washing days, my shower time is
Oh,
like
yeah.
we're in there for a minute.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm like, I have to go through like
got a finger
this
comb,
finger
detangle.
comb.
Yeah.
Hairs everywhere.
Yeah.
So I have
Everywhere.
like this, pile of
Yes.
hair
Yes.
on the ledge.
What do you do with your pile of hair?
On the wall.
On the wall, right?
So I can easily pick it up and get it out.
Yes. Anthony came in the bathroom after I took a shower one time, and I had like just gotten out of the shower, and the shower curtain was still open. He was like, "What was that? What is that?" I was like, "It's just my hair."
Tarantula.
Calm down.
Yeah. No, I forgot one day and like left a big thing in the corner,
no.
and it looks like a
dead
mouse
animal.
or something. It's not pleasant. No. Yeah, that's why I'm saying I have a hard, fast rule. Like everything I do in the bathroom, I do by myself.
I got to be honest. Have you ever gotten off to shower sex?
No.
Never.
No.
No.
I think I don't know if it's something about standing, which is good foreplay type sex, but like I feel like my body can't if I'm in a standing
I
position.
mean, where are you? Like, it's
don't
hard
know.
enough
It's
to
like my body can't-
shave in the shower.
Same,
Like,
yeah.
let alone like where are you putting your leg
It's
to try?
never-
It's slippery. Like,
It's
it's
a mess.
dangerous.
You get
dangerous.
sweaty and stuff, and also like
Water's not a
you don't
lubricant.
stay wet. Exactly.
Yeah.
Even if you are wet, the water like washes it out. Water is not a
Yeah.
lubricant.
It's not.
Shower, hot tub,
Stop
Ocean.
it. Yeah.
pool.
Ocean.
Get,
Uh-oh.
no,
We don't
no.
need salt water in there.
I
You
feel
guys,
like-
stop it.
Get those plankton out of me.
Exactly.
Parasites.
I'm like, there is some kind of like tardigrade crawling up in my pussy or something.
Oh no.
I cannot with the ocean. And everybody,
Thomas, cut that out.
everybody pisses in the ocean.
Yeah. Oh, everybody.
Whales
You're lucky
piss
if
in
that's
the
all they
ocean.
do.
Whales piss in the
Let me
ocean.
tell you, like,
Dead bodies in the ocean.
Yes.
Come on.
No,
We've all watched enough
I'm
true
not-
crime. I ain't fucking in no ocean.
No.
No.
That's a hard no for me. Okay. Well, we got this incredible story through our listeners. He says, "Hello, ladies. I want to start off by saying I'm a huge fan of the podcast. Oh, thank you. I started listening last year and have binged every single episode since, and I think it is safe to say that none of my exes listened to you guys.
oh,
Fingers crossed.
This is the story of my worst 3-month-long span of life.
Oh, no. Wow. Coming in real hot. I really hope she doesn't listen.
We're going on a journey. So back in 2012, I was dating a girl that I met through a mutual friend. The friend gave her my phone number randomly one day, and she texted me trying to get information for a funeral we were both attending later that month.
Romantic.
We ended up hitting it off. Exactly. This makes me want to live life. We ended up hitting it off after that and messaged fairly consistently. And when the day came for us to finally meet up, I was excited as I was nervous. To give you guys an idea, I want you to imagine the guy that was in damn near every single picture of the yearbook, student council, captain of more than one team, super likable and fun. I was the guy that occasionally ended up with his backpack in that guy's pictures.
I know exactly who you are.
Yeah, exactly.
I know you.
I know you.
Oh, my wife, having seen pictures of me at this point in my life, describes me as tall, dark, and awkward.
Oh, that my type. That was my type.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah,
So-
perfect for me.
I know. So I was thrilled when one expressed interest in me. Day of the funeral comes, and I have absolutely no idea what this girl I've been talking to looks like. Even though I was in my mid-teens, I was not allowed on social media due to parental restrictions, sheltered homes, and all that. So I just had her name and her age. So I get a message on my phone asking where I'm seated. Trying really hard to keep the cool I know I didn't have, I respond telling her where I'm at. Darting my eyes back and forth, literally sitting on the edge of my seat, trying to catch a glimpse of anyone checking their phone, I feel a tap on my shoulder. I get startled, let out the most masculine yelp that my puberty-stricken body allows, and gracefully tumble off my seat, knocking over at least 4 other chairs in the process at a funeral.
Oh my
Amazing.
God. Like also just the pre-first date jitters when you're headed to a funeral is a vibe.
Yeah,
You know?
that is a very specific mood for real. So she giggled at me and threw a face that felt beyond sunburnt. I managed to get out. Believe it or not, it just gets more awkward from here.
Oh.
But we hit it off amazingly and began dating. So then he talks about whether or not like he wanted to keep going to that local high school or go to an early college high school. So you'd think that being as socially challenged as I was, I'd at least be good at school. No, I was barely.
Wait, are we the same person? 'Cause relatable content. Oh, man.
So he begins to go to the early college high school. And I easily went from being one of the more average students to the worst. But during my time there, I caught the attention of a cute little redheaded girl. We had multiple classes together, and she would go out of her way to be paired up with me on any and all group assignments. She would make sure she walked into classes at the same time, and she even went as far as trading lockers with her friend because it was closer to mine.
I feel like that's a lot. That's a lot.
Yeah, how hot is she?
That does determine.
Yeah.
Even being in a school of people that relied on intelligence to get by, I wasn't even the most athletic person at the school.
Honey.
I continued what I usually did. I sat in the back of my classes quietly doing my homework, watched rom-coms in the computer lab, and just remained not very social. Not a single clue as to why this redheaded girl would be into me. I barely showed her any attention and made it known I had a girlfriend in my hometown.
Oh.
Wait, I
have
love
a
that he's
girlfriend in
like,
Canada.
I'm into rom-coms. He's like, I'm just going to be sitting back here watching my rom-coms. He would relate to our Fuck, Marry, Kill.
yeah,
this
for
week.
sure. This is perfect. Yeah, you have to write in and let us know who your rom-com like movie couple is, for sure. Okay, time goes by and my school passes out our yearly planners. Little did I know at the end of these planners, they have a full student directory with everyone's name and cell phone numbers. I feel like
no, that's invasive.
that's not a good idea.
No, I don't love that.
How many girls got harassed because of this?
Totally.
Like, for sure.
Changed my number immediately.
Yeah.
So the redhead begins texting all the time.
Oh.
Very seldomly did I respond, and it was only about schoolwork. She starts getting really flirty and began making advances toward me, all through text, never in person. So I declined over and over again, reminding her of my girlfriend every single time. And if I was going to do anything with anyone, it was going to be with her. Even then, I was raised in a very religious household, so probably not even then.
Oh.
I've seen enough rom-coms to know that cheating never works out for anybody. So now that you all have the backstory, because of my school, I was never on the same schedule as my girlfriend. So his weekends were usually taken up by chores or running errands with my mom. So we very rarely ever got to hang out. So come winter of last year, I was at that school. My mom left me and my dad alone for a few months while she went to handle some things with my grandma in California. So it was game on for me.
Oh my God, this is recent.
One night, my phone starts going off at 2 a.m. I struggle awake, grab my phone, and missed call from my girlfriend. I text her asking if everything is okay. She calls me immediately. Can you come over? Right now, I replied. Yeah, right now.
Oh, no.
You know it's 2, right? Yeah, can you come? Are you okay? Do you need something? Yeah, I need you to come over. I'll be right there.
Yeah.
The realist in me woke up. It's the middle of winter. The car is covered in snow. You can't drive there, and she lives 2 miles away. How are you going to get there?
Oh, no.
You don't even have a jacket that isn't right next to Dad's room. You're going to freeze your ass off for this? That's exactly what I was going to do.
Of course you are. Yeah.
Yep.
I threw on a shirt and my jeans and panicked to find a jacket. I didn't have one, but I remembered I gave one to my girlfriend. I could just get it back when I left her place.
No, but you have to get there first.
I snuck upstairs as quietly as I could and grabbed my shoes. My room was in the basement, so I made my way out the window into the snow-covered flower bed, hand shoveling a significant amount of snowfield dirt.
Oh no, so much mud.
And also
So
just
much
so
mud.
cold. Like
So cold.
when you come in like direct contact with snow, it's like in your hands.
Yeah.
Oh God, it's so cold.
Then I went for my bike, flat tire. I went for my younger brother's bike, flat tire.
Oh, honey.
I slowly looked over at my youngest brother's bike.
This tiny little bike.
So you can imagine what his bike looked like, but I was on a mission. I took the tiny Huffy and rode my heart out in the dead of night 2 miles away.
What a romantic.
Getting ready for what I knew was going to be a memorable night.
Oh.
I pull up to my girlfriend's house, a little way down the street. I'm not an idiot. So I call her and tell her I'm outside. She says she's coming out. She came out with a very different look than I was expecting her to have.
Oh no.
She begins to tell me our schedules are just too different. and
You did not call me up here at 2 a.m.
To ride in
the
the
snow to break up with me.
Yep.
So that's what he says. So to break up with me, because that's what you're doing, you call me at 2 a.m. to come to your house, knowing full well that I couldn't drive in the snow.
I'm
Am I
pissed
getting
for
this
him.
right? And I ride home. Celine Dion's all by myself, playing over in my head, and a shivering, pathetic figure riding a bike that is way too small.
Oh my God. Poor thing.
Oh my god!
This looks like a rom-com to me.
Yeah,
I
100%.
know. This is so great. I literally want Netflix to pick this up. So the girl starts dating some other guy, and
Of course.
that pushes him to start messaging back the cute redhead. So she gets flirty, I get flirty, and then they come up with a plan. I was going to skip after school homework and go meet up with her, and we were going to go on a walk and talk, in quotes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we meet up, we take a walk, and we find a creek that we can walk down. We find a little clearing surrounded by trees right next to the water. She says she was tired and wants to sit. She pulls out a blanket from her backpack.
She had
lays
this
it
all
on the
planned
ground.
out.
Yeah. We sit and talk for a minute, and then
1
things get hot
Literally
and heavy.
60 seconds. Yeah.
We're making out, and before I know it, we are both one layer of clothing away from being very intimate. My rational brain has shut off completely at this point. She hits me with this. I really like dirty talk. Can we do this?
No, you're in
honey,
high school.
school.
It's going to be so bad.
17 years
Oh,
old.
no. It's going to be terrible.
And I have no idea what came out of my mouth. For the life of me, I've tried to remember, but can't.
Oh, no. He blocked it out. His
like,
brain was
his
like,
shame receipt
we're
that's
protecting
like-
you
He's
right
like-
now.
He's like, I called her names I'm not proud of.
I can't say this. It shocked the hell out of her, but it really got her going. And she looks at me and says, wow, I wasn't expecting that. What would your mother think if she heard that? And suddenly the real me came crashing back. What would she think? We could get caught out here. I could get her pregnant. My mom would murder me. I can't handle
His
a baby
boner
right
just
now.
went.
I'm going to go to jail. I'm going to go to jail. I sit straight up, all color from my face gone, with all these thoughts rushing through my mind. She grabs my face to look at her, curious as to what's wrong, and from the inner depths of hell, I vomit. So he fucking says some crazy dirty talk to her and then throws up.
You're like, bruh, I'm gonna go to jail. I'll make you pregnant. Here comes my mom.
Oh. I panic, get up, grab my clothes, and haul ass out of there. I didn't hear back from her, and I was too embarrassed to initiate contact with her.
Oh no!
Wow.
Oh my god!
This girl who was obsessed with him was like, actually, that might have been a mistake.
We have got a little bit more, so I cannot believe it. But fast forward a few weeks, and he gets a message from the redhead that wants to meet up again. I thought it was a mistake. I told her she had the wrong number. She asked if it was me, and shocked, I said yeah, and she confirmed she wants to meet up again.
Oh no!
The college we went to had study rooms that you could reserve. We reserved ours on the top floor. Now, these study rooms were private.
Well, look, listen, he knows he should know himself at this point. Like, you need to meet somewhere where you are not going to be interrupted, that is not in the public eye. You are not a public sex person, sweet baby.
No. So we meet up there and things start getting hot and heavy again. She keeps asking me if I'm okay, and I tell her I am. Again,
She's like, are you going to throw up again?
one layer from sin when all of a sudden a jostle on the door. Then a knock. Someone was at the door. We were in the wrong study room. I begin losing my mind.
Yes, see, I told you. You can't do this shit in public.
Oh my God. She closes and locks. She deals with it. She calmly puts a jacket on, answers the door, and tells them that there was a mix-up. They can have our room. She closes and locks the door and looks over at me, looking like I just had an interaction with a dementor.
Oh no!
Oh, he's such a cute baby angel. She takes off her jacket, and that ended up being way too much for my teen heart, and I passed out.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
No feet.
No feet, exactly. Oh my God.
No.
It was only for a few seconds.
Oh no!
It was enough to worry her. The same thing as last time. I just got dressed and ran out. I wish I knew what she was after, because even after those 2 times, she continued to try and get together with me.
She have a bet with somebody that she could take his virginity.
I don't know. It must have been 90s bet
90s
movie.
bet.
You were in a 90s bet movie, dude.
Oh, honey.
Totally.
Oh my God!
Oh my God. I think I was too embarrassed to attempt another meeting. I don't know what she saw in me that she couldn't have gotten from someone else. She was really cute, so it wouldn't have been difficult for her. But she has since gotten married and is with someone we went to school together. Anyway, that concludes the worst 3 months I've ever had. And since then, I have met and married the love of my life, and we are very happy together. And I'm
Awesome.
happy to report I've never thrown up on her.
Amazing.
Oh wow!
Hopefully, never passed out either.
Ooh-wee.
Oh my God.
That was a journey. It was an
Yeah, it
epic odyssey.
Really was.
Amazing.
To vomit and then pass
out.
out on...
And to get broken up with at 2 a.m. in the snow with no jacket while riding a tiny bicycle.
That was a lot. This was a journey. It was
Wow.
a journey.
Oh, I feel like we got all of his
Yes.
shame receipts. He's like, literally, I hope you feel unburdened.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Alrighty, okay. I'll need to describe the lead up to fully paint this picture. I'd met a girl while I was completely written off outside a bar, so couldn't really remember her, and had been messaging her through the week. I had wanted to take her out to dinner, but she seemed set on a, quote, town date because she was more comfortable after a few drinks with her friends. So I agreed.
Okay.
After the night had progressed, I eventually went to see her. She looked a little bit different from her most recent Facebook photos and was extremely intoxicated. Most of the date she spent telling me how much she loved me, sucking my face off and trying to mount me in a busy bar.
It's not
a good look.
vibe.
It's not a good look. After some debating with my friends, it was decided that I would go back to hers because I wasn't sure I'd be able to perform because of lack of attraction. My mates gave me a Viagra. Which, in my head, I'm picturing them as fairly young people, and I'm like,
also, why do you have
it?
Yeah.
And you also don't need to.
Why do you have to?
You don't have to.
You don't have to. And also, she's drunk, so don't go home with her. This is bad.
Why?
Fast forward a 20-minute and $35 cab ride later, we were at her place. Upon entry, she requested I remove my shoes, and we made our way to her bedroom. Halfway there, I stepped in her dog's piss and then some other kind of animal poop with my other foot. She kept gerbils in a crate next to her bed.
Nope. I'm going to throw up in my mouth. Gerbil. Gross.
The dirty work has begun, but she wouldn't strip and wanted the lights off. I proceeded to go down on her, but after... Sorry. I'm sorry. It's just brace yourselves.
I'm sorry. I'm like, my eyes are watering. I'm going to gag so much. Like, I just...
No, brace yourself, Cassie. We're not done.
So nervous.
I proceeded to go down on her, but after a minute or so, I realized the texture was wrong.
We lost Cassie. She's in the corner. The texture. Oh no.
She felt my hesitation and confessed that she started her period today.
Cassie is legit. God. Oh no. It's
Day 1, period 2. Day 1. It's not even like you're on the tail end. Like things are wrapping up. After the lights went on and many gags at the blood and discharge consumed had been had, I decided to finish the job.
Oh no, dude.
Why?
Is so brave.
She had a ventriloquist doll, possibly from Goosebumps, in a chair watching us because she liked it and wouldn't let me move it.
There's too much in this story.
After a while, I couldn't continue anymore and asked to shower nearing 5:30 a.m. on Sunday. But she wouldn't let me because her father, a former Bosnian soldier, would kill me if he saw me with his daughter. So while she has gone to get me toilet paper to clean up, I've gotten changed and am ready to go. This seemed to upset her, and she has asked me to sleep with her just a bit. She wrapped herself around me and passed out. I waited maybe 15 minutes to confirm and jimmied myself free using a pillow as a substitute.
It's like some Indiana Jones shit.
He's like...
Upon trying to flee, again stepping in the piss, I've realized that all the...
God damn it, again. So
that all the exits are just locked.
Fucking piss-soaked socks. In your face.
He's a nightmare driving home. Like, he's lucky he won't get arrested because the police will be like, who did you murder?
I've realized all the exits are deadlocked and the windows barred, all except this tiny screened window in the bathroom. After minimal consideration, I pushed the screen out and started to...
Oh no! And then he turned around and that fucking doll was there. What in the creepy pasta are you reading us right now? Awful.
Started to crawl through when suddenly she has awoken and is calling for me. With no time to waste, I've launched off the hand basin, knocking stuff off, and through the window until my Viagra-fueled boner rammed straight into the side of the window. Internally squealing in pain, I corrected myself and slithered to freedom. Just as I heard her reach the bathroom corner, drunk, dehydrated, disoriented, and still at full mast, I ran for around 10 minutes until I hit the main road and got a cab home. She rang me 6 times that day and for the next, leaving several voicemails and messages.
Oh my God. Oh. That is... oh my God. Oh my God.
That is one.
There was so much in that. Period. Gerbils.
Ventriloquist doll.
Oh no. Oh, piss socks.
Escape.
A true escape.
Oh
a
my
fucking
God.
penis for days.
Oh God.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Wow.
I don't feel well.
I'm so sorry, Cassie. I feel so bad.
Oh my goodness.
You can make it.
That was a journey.
Yeah.
I feel a mess. Do I look a mess?
You look like you just like emerged from like the end of a saga. Like you look. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. You look
Yeah.
changed.
You do.
I am changed.
You look changed. Yeah.
I need a break. I don't know. Oh my God. Whew, you guys.
All right.
And fan off here. It's really so hot. Why? It's ridiculous. Oh my God. I'm going to wake up in the middle of the night and think about that fucking story.
The texture wasn't right.
Yeah, that's what did
The
it.
texture ruined it.
That
texture.
I was like,
That's when you got me.
Yeah, I was like,
I was like, there's a gerbil down there, isn't there? That's my head went to places I didn't mean for it to go. It didn't.
Do you know, that's always fascinated me, like where that rumor about Richard
Right?
Gere and the gerbil came from. Same
Just
as
myth. Right?
same as the curling iron up Reichert's ass.
Yeah.
Those urban legends.
And how? It didn't matter what school you went to.
I'm sorry. What's
Or
the
where-
Richard Gere gerbil situation?
I'm
You've
sorry.
not heard that?
You have, because they've talked about it on DZ.
I don't remember.
Gerbil up the butthole
But why?
for like a sexual gratification thing.
But like,
But it's obviously not true. I mean, it's
What?
obviously ridiculous. But why?
why do we all know that story?
Global truth, right? It's a global thing. Like everybody in Columbus, of course, for
Columbus,
the Riker.
everybody.
Because there was a big car dealership, like huge car dealership. And there was this rumor that went around that was like, he cheated on his wife. So his wife turned on the curling iron, hot curling iron up the a-hole.
Oh.
But I'm like, I didn't go to school anywhere near you.
No.
I don't.
But we
Where?
all know it. Do you know, I actually posted about that on Reddit and I got like thousands of upvotes. And
You're talking
people
about
are
the
like,
Riker thing?
Yes.
No.
Yes. And everyone was like, holy shit. But it was like a response to like a question, like what's an urban legend or it's the like thing like that,
Yeah.
like something that we all know. And I was like, I'm from Columbus and blah, blah, blah. And everyone was like, holy shit. I know that too. And
Yes.
nuts.
Dude.
Where do these things come from?
I don't know, man. Who starts it? And then it is like wildfire. And this is before the time of social media. So
Right.
like,
This
you're
is
talking
like the
80s,
OG
90s.
viral.
Yeah. How that shit got like spread.
I don't know.
I blame church camps, honestly. I think
You know what? I'm going to place the blame on church camps. Yeah.
mean-
You know, you're not wrong.
Also
Probably.
that S that we all drew.
Mhm. The S we all drew. I knew the Marilyn Manson one. That he like had ribs removed so that he could
so
suck his own dick.
Yep,
Yeah,
yep.
that's one that went around.
Oh, yeah.
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 Wow.
Wow. Anyways.
So glad we got that.
Glad,
So glad we got that out.
glad to go on this journey with you, ladies.
Yeah. Welcome back. All right. I am going to start my story with a trigger warning, which is that I will be talking about domestic abuse. So if that's something that triggers you, you should definitely not listen
Skip.
to this story because there is a heavy amount of that. And some of it needs to be described slightly in detail. So I won't be holding back necessarily. So if that's something, honestly, that triggers you, I would definitely steer away from this story. Or maybe we can even throw in the show notes like the spot in which we mention it, at like the timestamp. If you don't want to do that, you can remove that comment.
Okay.
So, but this is the story of Albrecht Muth and Viola Drath.
Okay.
And I know that you guys don't know this.
It's not ringing any bells. No.
Okay. So this story was turned into a movie by Christoph Waltz. And Christoph Waltz plays Albrecht Muth. And so just in your mind, imagine this character. It's actually, I was like, just learning as much as I have about it, I was like, yeah, this is like, he's like
a very
ideal.
Specific type.
Yeah.
So if you can get that type in your head,
it's perfect.
Yeah. Okay.
I believe that Vanessa Redgrave plays the wife.
Oh.
So that tells you a little bit about the age difference.
Yes. Interesting.
I learned a lot about this by watching Deadline Crime with Tamron Hall.
Nice.
Yep. Season 2, episode 3 or 4, one of the two. I also read a very prolific article written by Franklin for Time, New York Times Magazine. And it is just chock full of, it is like probably the pinnacle of this topic, this story. Like it's like the book of it, right? And it's called The Worst Marriage in Georgetown.
Oh.
Okay.
Ooh.
Now, buckle the fuck up. Put that safety belt right on because this is a journey. Okay. So I'm going to try to get through it as quickly as possible. But we're going to start at the end. Okay. It's August 12th, 2011. Albrecht Muth calls 911. His wife is dead at 91. He came home. He'd been out walking for his 2-cigar walk that he normally takes every morning.
Whoa.
Yep.
Wait, hold on. 2 cigars at once?
2-cigar walk. He also...
I feel like that's a lot of cigars.
Or
it feels
maybe it's just like the length of it. He smokes 2 cigars and that's how far he walks.
No, I mean, I know, but like 2 cigars take a long time.
It's a long time. It's a
right?
big walk.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a long walk. Or you're a really quick smoker. Because the cigar could last you.
And that makes me feel sick thinking about smoking 2 cigars.
Too much.
First thing in the morning.
Ew.
Yeah. Good morning. Let's have 2 cigars. So you should know also about Albrecht. He, in the neighborhood, imagine this guy walking down the street. He wears an olive army suit with a beret and carries a horse crop on his
sir.
morning
Stop it.
walk.
You stop that now.
Also known to like goose step walk.
No.
So, yeah, it's very extra. Imagine this guy walking around your
Where is he? Georgetown?
Washington, D.C.
No.
Georgetown.
No. Absolutely the fuck not.
Yeah.
9-1-1 if I see that shit in my neighborhood.
Imagine you're sitting outside the coffee shop and here comes fucking Albrecht Muth and his 2-cigar walk, right? You're like,
a man smoking a cigar, goose stepping with a horse crop. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Danger.
Apparently somebody said that at one of the cafes. Somebody was like, why are you walking with that? Like, what's the thing that the marching...
A baton?
A baton. He's like, why are you carrying a baton? He's like, I'm not... who do you think I am? Sousa? Like, it's like, well, I mean,
they're like, he's a colorful character. I'm like,
Oh, he's very colorful. He comes home, walks into his beautiful, Georgetown walk up that he shares with his lovely wife, Viola Drath. Viola is dead in their bathroom, has a gash on her head. And so again, he calls 911. He's like, I'm pretty certain she fell and hit her head. She's 91.
Yeah.
Things happen, right? So the police come and they take Viola away to do an autopsy, right? But first and foremost, before I get to the murder and what happens, because we know it's a murder. Let's be honest. This isn't rookie corner over here.
No,
all three of us are not. I'm not going to surprise you, but like, you guys, guess what? It's a murder. Honey, we all know that.
Yeah.
This is what we play for. So Viola, let me tell you a little bit about her. This bitch is queen.
Oh, HBIC. Okay.
Yes. She is born in Dusseldorf. She originally, like in the early 40s, wrote a couple of plays that got, put on production in Munich and in different areas. This is also just like early post World War II. She becomes a translator. This is where she meets her first husband, the lovely Lieutenant Colonel Francis Drath. They fell in love, and she was his like personal translator. And eventually, they get married and move to. Where do you guess they moved?
Georgetown?
Nebraska.
What?
From Germany?
Can you imagine? You're
What a
just
culture
transplanted.
shock.
I know, right? Like you're just uprooted out of your life in, Germany to go to
In the middle of some wheat fields in Nebraska. Yeah.
So, but she actually falls in love with Nebraska. She's like, it's a beautiful place. And she quickly makes Nebraska her home. They have a few children. She starts going back to college and she gets her advanced degree in philosophy and literature. So she's a smart fucking cookie. She's already written plays.
We like her. Yeah.
We love her. She becomes like a journalist. So she starts doing all kinds of really cool things, becomes like a commentator on the local news network.
Wow.
Yeah. She is writing, writing stuff for different publications. One of those publications being Madame Magazine, which is a big fashion magazine, like a Vogue, basically, for Germany. So she's like their correspondent from the U.S. who talks and writes about fashion.
They don't know that they don't know what that means. They're like, oh, Nebraska.
But she flies to New York every season for the fashion shows and writes columns for Madame Magazine and stays on top of like what's culture. And I think that that's kind of the thing too. I think publications really were the way in which fashion was spread. So, I don't know if it mattered maybe necessarily where you were because, think about the fashion at the time. It was so holistic. You didn't have like a lot of different fashion scenes, right? Like it was a very holistic thing. I mean, if you think about late 40s, early 50s, women wore XYZ, right? You're like, you're wearing this cut this season, Yeah. And it just was the thing, right? So she is, doing all these really awesome trips to New York and, has like a real solid career. And her husband is like really happy to be like Mr. Mom. Like he is like at home taking care of the children. He's the one who cooks. He takes care of the home. This is like, and they're very happy in their situation. They love it. But he is still working. And so he actually gets a job offer around 1968. They moved to Washington, D.C., where he is a liaison for the secret selective service group, right? So he takes a job in D.C. They buy this beautiful walk-up in Georgetown. And, not to be left behind and the adaptable, amazing character that Viola is, she becomes a political correspondent for a German magazine. So she's like, okay, switch gears. I'm in the political scene now. I'm going to write political shit.
I'm always amazed by people who can do this. Like,
I know, right?
Just high achievers, no matter where they are, no matter what facet.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Just adaptable and able to like, switch gears on a dime and make the best out of her life. It was just really amazing. And so she also then became a columnist for a DC magazine doing lifestyle, arts, culture, kind of speaking on the local DC scene. So she was really like a mover and shaker. I mean, this got her into all kinds of doors. She met anyone you can think of. She was, in the political scene. Like she was talking to the big people. She was making moves, making strides. And at this time, she's also the member of the executive committee for of the National Committee of Foreign Policy. So, I mean, she's really, again, she's in it.
Right.
She's in it. And again, she's like her husband's Mr. Mom still. Like, even though he has a job, he's very happy to be like the person who takes care of the home and let her kind of also live her fabulous life, right? Well, it's around this time that Viola meets Albrecht Muth. He was 18 at the time, and she's like 40 years into her marriage and in her 60s. It's 1982.
Wow.
He's an intern for some lesser-known Republican governor.
I don't want to date an 18-year-old.
No, and neither does she. Neither does she.
I'm
She's like, okay, we'll go to dinner, but I'm like, only because he's also a German. And so they kind of had like this kindred, like, oh, you're very interesting. You're German. I can speak my native tongue. We can kind of have fun. But in no way is she like, you're a hot dude. But he spends time with him and she finds him fascinating as somebody who's just like an interesting character. He's, comes around the house. This is like literally just a guy who's, kind of just a side character. Like in any other situation, this would be a side character we probably would have never mentioned. Her husband even calls him the boy. Like there's a definite familial type of situation within.
Well, yeah. This. I mean, you're in your 60s. I imagine if you're bringing like an 18-year-old around, it feels like, this is like
it's like mentor.
Yeah.
I mean, even at that age, he could be her grandson.
Yeah.
I mean, if you really think about it.
Yeah.
So, but he asked her to dinner, and that's kind of how their kind of kinship started. And it's around this time in the 80s in which her husband gets really sick with cancer. And it's an awful time for her. He ends up dying in 1986, sorry. And she's fucking lost, right? He took care of the home. So, I mean, like, the house is going to shit. She does not know how to cook for herself. She even asks friends, she's like, do you know how to cook breakfast? She's like, she doesn't know. She's literally been kind of taken care of in this type of way her whole life, because and so it's never been, it kind of would have been me if before the pandemic, something happened to Chris and I suddenly had to start making myself food. I'd be like, I don't know how to words things.
That's how Anthony is. Like, when I go away.
Oh, I know. Like, we offer him to come over to eat, but I think he really loves making himself those hangry man meals.
I know.
In the microwave.
He's just like, he's like, Keegan, how do you cook chicken breast? I'm like on the plane, like, this is how you make Brussels sprouts, like.
I love it. That's hilarious. But it's true though. I mean, and it's just never been part of her life. And she's also alone. Like, she's completely alone. Her family is gone. Her children are grown. They're living their lives. Her daughter's a judge in Los Angeles, so everybody's kind of gone and done their own thing. She has another daughter in the DC area, but they had lives, right? Mm-hmm. She's, older. And so it's around that time that, Albrecht Muth just kind of starts to show up and really starts coming around again. And, again, they hadn't been close and he had been gone for a while, but it's like around this time that he just kind of pops back into her life. And he really is exciting to her. He's young. He's, talks politics with her. He is the Darcy, right? Mm-hmm. He's going to be aggravating. They're going to get into disputes and fights and really engage each other in political conversation. But
I mean, that is hot.
Yeah.
Or it can be, or it can go off the rails really fast.
But he's also he's super into being a housemaker too. So he likes taking care of her. They drink tea together. He's a companion. He is, he cooks for her. It becomes like a really cool mutual kind of kinship relationship. And she's really attached to this guy who's just been really there for her. And at one point her daughters do end up meeting Muth. And they were like, when her one daughter met him initially, she was like, he had an eye patch and he was like, oh yes, I lost, my eye in foreign war, blah, blah, blah kind of situation. And she's like, oh, interesting. But she's like, then the next time I met him, no eye patch. Mm-hmm. And so she asked her mom about it and he was like, yeah, he's just wild like that. He tells stories. He's kind of quirky, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
With your daughter, you just, okay, doesn't sound like it, but cool.
Yeah, he's eccentric.
Yes. Exactly.
I feel like that's the word people tend to use about people like this.
For sure.
Until something goes off the rails completely. And then,
Right, and then you're like, okay, well, maybe it was a little far. So 3 years later, after this kind of companionship has grown, Muth asks her to marry him. And she's like, I can't see why I wouldn't. Like, this sounds perfect. He's great. And he's young, but she describes him as young and interesting. And like all her friends are old and whatever, right? Mm-hmm. So she's like, he's a young, interesting character.
But you've got a question, listen, 60 to 18, we've talked about age gaps before.
Yeah. Right. And this isn't even this now. This was 10 years later. So now you're talking
still
70 to 20.
Somebody who's in their 20s
that's
still.
Not, I don't think that's fair to that young I just question it. It's odd.
Of course.
It's odd.
Her family questioned it. Her friends are like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Like, sure, have your boy toy, but don't marry him.
If this happened to my mom, I would legit both of my feet down.
Yeah.
Immediately, if not sooner.
Yeah.
But also, too, you're like, mom should have a life. And if this guy makes her happy.
Right. Yeah.
But I agree, though. Like, marriage doesn't probably need to be the thing.
I ride the line because for me, it is kind of like, look, she's coming towards, you're heading towards the last, however
chapters, right, of your life.
Yeah. And so I'm kind of like, YOLO in one respect, kind of like do what you want right now because nothing's real, and
you
know, and it's all gonna end at some point anyway. But on the other hand, yes, if this was my mother, 100%, I would be like, I need to check him up and fucking down.
And FB fucking I immediately.
Yeah, I'm doing a background check. This guy has already lied to me, like, and that's weird to me. Right. And I feel like if we're just excusing these like little white lies as eccentricity, like we need to take a closer look at this for sure. I mean, and if it works out, like, fine, but like I would definitely, if it was my mom, be suspicious. Suspicious.
Well, and I agree with her friends and family sentiment, which is that, listen, if this was my mom, I would be like, fucking YOLO, bitch, get some, but don't get marry him.
Yeah, because why?
Don't you fucking
like? Why do you
marry him?
even need to? Like, you are already like, he can just move him into the house.
That's right.
Like, you don't need to get married.
You gotta get married,
and to tie him up like legally with all your shit in the last chapters of your life.
Unfucking necessary. Don't need that.
I'm with you.
So, you know, she liked Muth, but he really didn't have tons of prospects, but it was fine. They're really living off of her husband's old pension. She's also made a career for herself. So they've got money and it's fine. So this has never been a money binge, I don't think. Like, this isn't like necessarily motivated by money, but what it is motivated by from every angle is his eager to be successful. Like, he is absolutely a climber. He wants notoriety. Ooh. He wants to be in the right circles.
And see, that would raise alarm bells for me too. Again, if this was my mom, like,
for sure. He wants success. He wants the connections, and he wants to affiliate himself with high-ranking officials. Like, he's super about it. That's where he sees his life. So in 1999, Muth actually formed an eminent persons group. It's a group of prestigious thinkers that he gets together, all these connections that he's made through his wife, and has these elaborate dinner parties that he throws. He cooks and makes like very, I guess that he was like very eccentric too, like the way that he would put like a napkin over his arm and serve people. And they were like, it was like going to like a fine dining restaurant.
This sounds like
but he's also the host.
That
so was very weird.
No, like, oh God, he sounds so exhausting. Mm-hmm. Like, I could never, this sounds like someone who's on all the time, like one of those people.
Yeah. Mm-mm. So again, it's prestigious thinkers that he wants in his room, and he wants to, you know, rub shoulders and elbows with the right types of people. He's building his prestige, and during this time, he says that an old relative of his, an old like uncle or somebody, fell off an elephant in India, and he passed on his title to him. So now he can be referred to as Count.
No, I will literally never do that. I will never, ever refer to you as Count.
He made a very thick stationery with a crest that he designed with his new title. And so everything that went out was, you know, all these invitations now were by...
I hate this man. I hate him.
Count Albrecht Muth. He describes his relationship with Viola as being very transactional. So when it comes to like, are you guys sleeping together? He's like, it's a transactional relationship. I am very much providing a service for her, which is that I take care of her, I feed her, I'm her companion, and she keeps me connected to these people. I mean, like, and that's the way he looks at it, and possibly Viola too. I don't know that she was like, they slept in separate beds in the same room and apparently fought in German all through the night.
Okay, you know, yeah, okay.
I would go to one of these dinner parties.
Yeah,
like 100. I would like to go one time. You know,
but their relationship starts to turn volatile. Where he beats her on many occasions, mercilessly. There was multiple interactions where she would be seen out in public with sunglasses on when it shouldn't be necessary, bloodied lip.
This makes me sick.
Yeah,
like
it's awful. The elder abuse.
Yeah.
But it's their volatile relationship, right? They love fighting, they love arguing, and it is definitely the downside of the Darcy. So when you picked that and you were talking about that earlier as being, I'm like, this is her ideal in some way. Like, she had that kind of like baby brain that she tapped into, which was like, this means we're in love because it is.
It
feisty.
also, she did have like a successful marriage for
a beautiful
several
marriage.
years. And so I can't speak to what it's like to lose a partner that you've been with and had a successful marriage and raised family with, and then you lose them. All I have to go on is talking with my mom the past couple of months.
Oh gosh, right.
And so I don't know if she had the whole Darcy thing in her brain in so much as just what
the need
happens.
for companionship.
The need for companionship, just feeling really
Yeah.
alone. Yeah. I think that's probably a big part of what this was.
Yeah.
Sure.
You needed to fill that void, and this person was here and seemingly willing to do that.
Yeah.
And she does sound like kind of like a firecracker of a person.
Yeah.
And listen, debate can turn really bad, but it can also be really stimulating.
Sure.
So if you meet somebody who you're like, oh, we can talk politics and we can have like a healthy
I love
debate,
that.
and like it's intellectually stimulating for me.
Sexy.
Right.
That's sexy, but it can turn.
But
with the
if
wrong
you're
person.
a volatile, angry person,
Right.
and then you turn it into a reason to abuse somebody
Right.
because maybe you started drinking and now
Right.
you uptight, like I got a fucking problem with that.
Yeah, she may
right?
not have realized,
For sure. And I don't think that that's how their relationship started,
Yeah.
but it definitely turned into that. Muth also was having many affairs. Muth was gay. And it seems that she didn't care. And it seems like that wasn't the type of relationship they had. So he was having many affairs with different men. He even moved in with a boyfriend in 2002. And it seems as though Viola was not the only one to be the wrath of his hand, because this boyfriend also had been the brunt of his wrath. So in May 2006, in a violent rage, he threw a chair, pounding her head to the floor, holding her down, pounding her head to the floor so many times, and held her down on the floor with him on top of her. I mean, this is a 70-something-year-old woman, nearing 80, right?
Yeah.
At this point. Well, it has to be 2006. She was 60, 70, like 80s. So she's in her 80s, right? 2006. She doesn't escape until the next morning when she finally is able to get out of the house because he's been sitting on her, preventing her from calling the police. She's finally able to escape, make it to her daughter's house where they call 911 and decide that they're going to press charges.
if that was your fucking mother.
I can't.
Awful.
I can't.
Awful.
Yeah.
Awful.
No.
So Muth fled, and he fled, and he started a corresponding news from Iraq to the State Department, the National Security Council. He's taking a persona of like a world-weary freelancer. So he has now escaped to Iraq, where he is now kind of in the inn with the Iraqi soldiers and their freedom and their revolution. And so he's able to now communicate all the things that are happening to his contacts now in DC, because now he's free. He's, kind of doing his own thing.
Wait,
It's
how?
a real turn of events.
I'm so confused.
He just fled. And so that's where he fled to, is Iraq. But during the same time, because he's becoming so helpful to this, like his underground, information that they're getting, because then the news comes out the next morning and they're like, oh my God, that's true. So they're like, I guess he must have some kind of intel. But he gets super excited about how valuable he's coming, and he begins to rekindle things with Viola, calling her. And Viola tells her friend at this time, she goes, I honestly don't know if he's calling from another country or if he's calling from the room next door, because the number that keeps showing up on their caller ID is a phone number from Miami, where he's supposed to be in another country and corresponding. Turns out that he's calling from Miami Hotel, where he's been employed for 2006 to 2008.
Whoa.
Not some war-torn country. Corresponding, what he's doing is waking up at very early hours, reading foreign news, writing that foreign news, and sending it to his contacts before it breaks in the States.
Well, he's resourceful.
Yeah.
I'll say that.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's all bullshit, right?
Oh, right.
Upon his return to Georgetown, this is when he begins to wear his olive uniform and beret, in which is an Iraqi uniform, because he is now titling his emails with his new title, Albrecht Muth, Staff Brigadier General.
Okay.
Turns out, though, after a little bit of a minor investigation, he's actually resourced this place in South Carolina to have this outfit made so that he can have...
He called a costume shop. He was like,
I
boop,
know.
boop, 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 boop.
Yeah. The grooves, though, kept him in style, and he held company of many high-ranking officials from Iraq. He was getting invited to like all these fucking parties. He was getting invited to all these dinners and all of these
But
things.
you know what? In Iraq, he's in Miami.
Now he's back in DC.
He's back in DC now with his uniform
with his
and
new
his
uniform.
new title.
Oh,
and his
God.
new title.
And, you know, I sometimes I listen to these stories and I'm like, I just need to trust myself more. Like, I feel like my confidence needs to be way fucking higher because I feel like
you can do anything in
you
DC with
can
confidence.
do
I'm telling you.
anything with the right amount of confidence.
That's
If
absolutely
you just
right.
walk into a room and you're like, I'm this
supposed to be
person,
here.
like 90% of people apparently will just be like,
It's
okay.
like that German heiress
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yes.
Exactly. It was
Yes.
just like, this is who I am. And people are like,
Okay. It's cool. Sounds good. And he even orchestrated this huge event called the National Observance of Iraq Liberation Day. And you know how much he loves to have these like acronyms. So he's NOLID is this new thing that he has where he's gathered American brass and gold star mothers to the Arlington Cemetery to lay wreaths and do a full ceremony where people speak. The son of the Iraqi president is there to give a whole speech. So he does this whole it is a whole thing, right? He hosts this big party for all these 40 gold star mothers to come.
Oh,
Isn't that
geez.
awful? And
Awful.
it was after, you know, so like he's just like he's invested in his persona, but it's after a big night of partying, heavy partying. He went that he, you know, had gone out the night before, didn't get home until really late. It's the next morning that he wakes up, goes for his 2-cigar walk, comes home and finds his lovely 91-year-old wife on the floor of his their apartment. Well, her apartment technically. And of course the autopsy, as I said, spoiler alert, it is murder. And not only is it murder, of course she has the gash on the head, but she also has ligature, basically like ligature marks around her neck, like from strangulation. She also has like a torn thumbnail in which has like his DNA. So there's like no way out of this, motherfucker. You fucking killed your wife.
Right.
Literally like days after her death, her family, her daughters get a note from him that is saying that the family owes him $200,000. And it was signed by their mother, but it was so obviously forged.
The rage.
Can
The
you
rage that would
imagine?
bubble up in you.
Honey, your fucking daughter is a lawyer, or I'm sorry, a judge in California, and you think you're going to get away with some bullshit ass,
What an idiot.
a fucking moron, right? Well, he is to the police. He's like, hey guys, you don't have shit on me. I didn't do it. It wasn't me. And tomorrow when I go in front of the judge, I'm not even going to know who I am.
What?
Yeah. He's like, I'm not even going to know who I am. He's basically like, I'm going to fiend like insanity, right?
But why would you,
Why would you tell
like
somebody
this?
that?
Yeah.
Why would you
this
have that
is
on record?
just, it truly is like that kind of like Bond villain thing where you're like, I'm going to give you my whole plan.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it to you from the word go. Like, what?
He's a mess. So he's definitely going to try for this insanity plea, but it somehow does kind of work because he does tie up the court system with like, you know, doctors and psychiatrists and people trying to establish whether he is or isn't.
The townspeople are like, yeah, he did walk around with a riding crop.
Yeah. I don't know if you ever saw him in his uniform that he had made. So at any rate, he is finally, he goes on this major hunger strike. During the hunger strike, he loses 100 pounds. He becomes so ill from this weight loss that they end up having to try him from his hospital room. It's the first time in history that they were like, you know what, we're done playing your games.
Enough.
And they're like, fine, you can't come to court because you're too sick. Well, guess what?
We got Zoom now, motherfucker.
That's right. He's
Court
like,
that
coming
shit.
to you.
Yeah.
That's right. And so, oh, by the way, just so that you're clear, he didn't just do a hunger strike on his own. He did the hunger strike because the archangel Gabriel told him to. So, you know, just to be clear that it wasn't just some whim that he decided, right?
Okay, yes.
But the courts were like, we're done with you, fool. You're guilty. 50 years in prison. And that is the fucking wild story.
Wow.
Well, I'd be interested to see. I mean, it doesn't seem like a stretch to actually think that maybe mental illness was involved.
Something's wrong with him for sure.
With this whole, I'm like, where was he before he was 18, or what was his childhood like? Because this is a very interesting path.
The one minor thing that I found from his childhood, of course, he was born in Germany, is that his mother was actually on a up and coming trajectory in political scene in Germany, I believe, and then
so just mommy was too close to him.
Well, and mommy died when he was young. So there's a lot of issues.
I'm not saying there was nothing wrong with him, because I think that there was definitely something wrong with him.
You killed your wife and you need to go to jail.
Yeah, and that one thing doesn't necessarily have anything really to do with the other.
Right.
You know,
right.
clearly this was a thing you knew was wrong to do.
Well, he blamed his mom for dying and for him for not like setting up his legacy so that he could be, you know, a powerful mover and shaker in the political world. So there was a lot of like
mommy issues
and blaming, and probably maybe where he became volatile toward Viola. Maybe he saw her as a mother and was like kind of
taking his anger out.
I mean, so who knows? Ugh. I mean, like, this is all super wild speculation on our part, but you know, it is a fucking crazy story, right?
Yeah.
And again, you can literally see.
Christoph Waltz, perfect.
Waltz, this character.
Oh my gosh, perfect.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, it was a new show that just dropped like in the last couple years. But yeah, and he directed it and everything. It was like his directorial debut.
It's called Georgetown. Is that what you said?
Georgetown. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ooh wee. Okay. Well, that was a good one, Cass.
Yeah. Speaking of, what are you guys watching this week?
So I watched a mini series on Netflix called Clickbait, and that's a tainted love if you're looking for something like that. I love a good like mini series. Like I know I'm a limited series. I'm going to get through it.
Same.
Love a limited series.
And it's a very interesting concept. And I enjoyed it. I think that the way that it's been getting a lot of like negative reviews actually, but like I think that the way that they did it is kind of not the best. Zoe Kazan is in it. Adrian Grenier, or how you say his last name, from Entourage is in it.
Yeah.
Still hot, by the way.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. He's pretty.
But every episode kind of focuses on a different character in the story as it moves through. And so I feel like it could have been tightened up a little bit, like, you know, but in general, I actually enjoyed it. And I think if you like that kind of thing, if you're into kind of like a mystery sort of story,
I am.
Yeah, I think that you will enjoy it. So there you go.
I'm still watching 9 Perfect Strangers.
Me too.
And Nicole Kidman's wigs.
Oh,
gosh.
Nicole Kidman and Melissa
hair.
McCarthy is
Wig looks
gorge.
like it's like she got it from like the Lord of the Rings.
Yes, she totally did. She stole Kate Blanchett's wig.
It looks like it's been in storage and no one's done anything with it since.
And when it gets wet, it's the stringiest thing I've ever seen.
It's so bad
Because she's
Watch
like
it be her
in
real
a
hair.
pool in every episode.
I've got to know. I've got to know if that wig is a thing. If it is part of the show that eventually comes out. That
I don't think so.
You think?
Because Nicole Kidman is kind of like notorious at this point for having like bad wigs.
That's what I'm saying. Like, is it her hair though?
Because The Undoing too, I'm like, what's
the deal
here?
Always bad.
I don't know. What does her real hair look like? What does it look like? Now I need to know.
Now I need to know why it's
was
like
it,
a wig
how
every
was it
time.
in the one where her husband?
Big Little Lies?
Yes.
I mean, it was
awful.
definitely a wig.
You think so? Yeah.
Same
think
as
so.
The Undoing.
Yeah.
It was just like,
Yeah.
ooh.
I mean, and none of them, if you're listening to this and you're like, it's not that bad, like, it's fine, but it's not great. It's not like Tyler Perry movie levels of bad wigs.
Did you see that there's a new Tyler Perry movie that is very tainted love?
They all are.
Okay.
They all are.
It's true, though. It's true.
I am watching a French show on Amazon Prime called Candice Renoir, and it is she's like a detective. It's just a really light,
Nice
UK type of.
I love a European.
It's good. It's good. And if you don't mind listening to French or reading a show,
Yeah.
it's good. It's
Love.
really good. I thought it was fun. It's light.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
It's light.
it's not too serious. Here's what I will say about it though, and I think this is talk point worthy. That apparently I am a full 11 in France, and I've considered moving because all the guys are fucking hot.
Oh.
And they are in love with her. And she is just, to me, like, I'm like, yeah, but she's pretty average, like.
Dude, listen, I will say this.
It's the reverse of that King of Queens thing we got going on over
That's
here.
the thing about watching, like, it's part of why I enjoy watching shows that were filmed in, like, the UK or whatever.
Yeah.
Not because anyone is unattractive, but just because they're, like, real.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, shows that are shot in the US, it's like, we're supposed to
guys can
suspend
be-
disbelief to believe that, like, everybody looks like this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where I'm
sorry,
like,
guys, Kevin James is not that good looking.
No.
Like, I mean, he's an okay looking guy, but he ain't pulling no Leah Remini in her fucking prime. No way.
Yeah.
Not on any day of the week. Not in the US of A. Not in these United States of America.
certainly not in LA.
No. Well, if you guys have something that we should watch, if you have FMK suggestions, if you have stories, go and reach out to our one-stop shop of website. It's myworstatepodcast.com. And we love you guys so much.
Cheers.
This is a Glass Box Media Podcast.